Everybody, this is Mrs. Lilich. We are going to learn how to use Google SketchUp. So you will be following along and creating a SketchUp project along with this video. So the first thing that you're going to do is open up Google SketchUp. So you're going to go down to your finder that looks like the little face, and you're going to click on him. And you're going to go to your applications over here on your left. Applications. Now scroll to the G's, Google SketchUp. Now my version is a little bit newer than what you have on your computers. My version is Google SketchUp 2015. You may have 2015 or you may have 2008 or Google SketchUp 8. They're very similar, if not the exact same. There's just a few buttons that may be different. So you're going to double click on Google SketchUp and you're going to click on the file that says SketchUp. Your icon may look like this red and white icon, or you may have a house with a pencil in front of it. Whichever version you have, you're going to double click and open up Google SketchUp. So we're always going to choose template. So you're going to click on this tab that says choose template, and we're going to use feet and inches. The simple template, feet and inches. Then you're going to go to the button at the bottom, start using SketchUp. Now depending on which version you have, you may have a guy right here or you may have a woman. You want to keep that person in there because it is good to tell what the scale of your project is. So we want to keep the person in there. So you have your main icons up here. The first thing that we're going to do, you're going to click on the icon that says orbit. If you look down at the bottom, you're also going to see what that icon is for. So ours is drag to orbit, which means that we're on the orbit icon. And right now, I just want you to play around. If you have a mouse, then you'll scroll forward to zoom in, scroll back to zoom out. If you're using your mouse pad, you're going to use the two fingers to scroll in and to scroll out. Now if you click and drag, you're going to move around in a circle. You can also move up and down. So take a second, feel free to pause the video to get familiar with the orbit button, because we're going to use that a lot and it can be a little confusing until you get used to it. So play around with it and then come back and press play when you're ready to. So the first thing that we're going to do is, what this project is going to be, we're going to build a house or a building. So you want to go up to your icons and you're going to choose the one that looks like a square or a rectangle, and you're going to click on it. So you're going to, with your pencil, you're going to click and drag to make a floor. Okay? Now what you want to take notice of is on the bottom right hand side where it says dimensions, it tells you the feet and inches, so how large that square is. So if you go really, really big, right now this building will be 52 feet by 112 feet. That's very large. So we're going to bring it in a little bit. 22 by 36 is a good size. And you're going to drop it. The next thing that you're going to do, you want to raise up your building, because right now we have a floor. So you're going to go to this icon that has an arrow. It's your push-pull. We're going to click on that, and we're going to push-pull our floor, and we're going to make a building. So I'm just clicking and dragging up. And I'm going to let go, and you have a box. Alright, so now on our box, we want to make a door and windows on all sides. So again, you're going to go to your shape, and you're going to press the square or the rectangle. And you can tell that you are on the edge, because see my pencil, the tip of it right now is blue. If you take it down to the bottom, it turns red, and it means that you're on the edge. The first thing we want to do is make a door. So we want to start it at the edge, so it's on the bottom. And I'm going to click and drag to make a door. And when it's the size that I want it, I'm going to let go. Okay, the next thing I want to do is make a window. So again, I'm going to click and drag, but on the face this time. And I'm going to let it go. Okay, now I'm going to go to my orbit, and I'm going to rotate my house, zoom out a little bit so you can see it. Okay, and I'm going to make windows on the side of my house. So I'm going to go to the rectangle, click and drag, click and drag. Okay, now I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. If you ever get confused, it helps if you zoom really far out. That way you can zoom back in. So with your orbit, if you get lost, if your building is over on the side or in the corner, it helps if you zoom out and you can rotate it, and that way you can zoom in. Okay, so now I'm on the back side of my house, and I'm going to make a large window. Make sure that you do this. Okay, you want to make a window about the size, not the full size of the back, but a very large window. Click your orbit when you want to turn. Now we're on the last side. Now if you want different shapes, you can click this button down here. So if you want a circle window, you can go to your circle, click and drag, click and drag. If you want a polygon, click and drag. Okay. Now, we're going to rotate back around to the door, the front side. And now we need to make the door and the window. So you want to make sure that you go a little to the side, and we're going to push-pull. So this button here, this icon, the square with the arrow pointing up, you're going to click on that. Now what you want to do is you want to push the door in a little bit to make an edge, but you don't want to push too far. So highlight your door. You should have it highlighted when your cursor is over it. You're going to click and just drag it a little bit. You don't want to go really far in. You want to make a very small edge. And when you make that edge, you're going to press your delete button and you have a door. Okay, you're going to do that to each one of your windows. Just drag it in a little bit to make an edge. Once you make the edge, you're going to let go and just press your delete button. Okay, orbit around. Remember, if it's hard to see, zoom out really far and then zoom back in. And when you're push-pulling, you want to make sure that you can see the edge so you can see how far you're pushing in. Once you push in, press delete. Do it to your next window. Press delete. Okay, go to your orbit, spin around, push-pull, delete. Use your orbit to spin around, push-pull, delete, and push-pull, delete. Okay, now we're going to use our orbit button. We're going to come back around to the front. So you should see your person in there. You should be able to see through the windows. And if you made a very large push-pull, a very large edge, this window would be going into your house. And you don't want that. You just want a small edge to make it more realistic. So the next thing we're going to do is tilt up so that you can see the top of your building. And we need to make a roof. So what we're going to do is go to this pencil, and we're going to draw a line. Now if you move your pencil along the edge, see how I'm doing, it will tell you where your midpoint is. It's going to light up blue. You're going to click and drag and make sure you find the midpoint. So it should be a green line. Once you have that midline, you're just going to drop it. So the next thing that we want to do is raise the roof. So you're going to go to this button that has the 4 arrows, and It's your move arrow. You're going to click on it, and if you move your cursor over the roof, you can see it lights up the midpoint, which is the blue line. You're going to click and drag it up, and you're going to make your roof. Now, if you're looking at it face on like we are, like I am on my screen, you can see the line, the dotted line. When it is straight up, that means that your roof is straight. When you have it the height that you want, you're going to just drop it, and you have a roof. So let's go back to the orbit. We're going to go up so we can see our roof. So right now we have a white house, and we want to add color to it. So we're going to go to the paint can that's tipping over, the paint bucket, and we're going to click on it. You have a bunch of different options. You have colors, spectrum, the crowns. We're going to go to the last one, and you have a whole bunch of different options for textures. So we want to make a roof, so we're going to go to roofing, and you have different options here. Go ahead and choose the one that you want. Once you make your selection, you put your paint bucket on the section that you want to paint, and you just click. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is we need to make the face of our house. So you can really use any one that you want, but I'm going to go to, what do I want to use? Brick and cladding. So once you make your selection, you just click and paint it. We're going to orbit around, and we're going to do each side. Feel free to get creative, use whatever you want, but we're going to paint each side. Okay, orbit, just orbit around. You click on the option that you want, and you paint it. Okay, so now you should have a house. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to the back, and we're going to make an overhang for this garage. So go ahead and put it face on, and we're going to make a square. So if you have a different shape here, click the arrow pointing down, go to your rectangle, and click and drag over the top, and you're going to make a square, not a square, but a rectangle over that window. Close that. When you have that, orbit around so you can see it on the side. So you should have your window that's taking up, if it doesn't take up the whole back wall, that's fine. Just make sure that you put that rectangle over the top of your window. And we're going to go to our push-pull. Make sure that that rectangle or square is selected, and you're going to click and drag it out. So now you have an overhang. Okay. So now what you're going to do, orbit down so that you see the bottom of it. Remember, if it's hard, feel free to zoom out, adjust it, and zoom in to the section that you want to see. And we're going to make either 2 circles or 2 rectangles. So we're going to click and drag on the face, click and drag on the face. And from there, you're going to push-pull those circles, and make sure that you select the circles. I'm going to click and drag those down. And click and drag it down. Okay. So now you should have a house with an overhang and 2 posts holding it up. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is our house needs a yard. So make sure that you zoom out. You should be about the top level like this so that you can see the house. We're going to make a rectangle around the house. So go to your rectangle shape up here and click and drag around the house. When you have the size of your yard, you're going to drop. We're going to go to our paint bucket, and one of the colors, they have vegetation down here. You can select if you want a color or water, whatever you want. Feel free to get creative. I'm going to go to vegetation, and I'm going to choose some grass that I want my yard to be. Okay. All right, the next thing, we're going to add two more things. We're going to go up to Tools. Actually, we're going to go to the Window tab up here. Go to Components. And in our 3D warehouse, we're going to look for a bench to add to our yard. So type bench, and it will do a search for bench in the 3D warehouse. And you have a whole bunch of different options here. So I'm going to add this one to my yard. So I'm going to click on the picture. If you click on the word, it will give you a bigger description. So click on the picture, and it will load the bench into your yard. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in over my bench, and it has this woman in here so you can see the scale, the size of the bench. If it's crooked and you want to rotate your bench, you have to go right over it, and you can, to resize it, you press S on your keyboard, and you can scale, you can make it larger or smaller. So I pressed S on my toolbar, or on my computer. Once it's the size that you want, I'm going to go up here, I'm going to use my clicker. If you want to move it after you've already clicked off of it, you can press the M button. Whoops. I'm just going to edit and move that. Okay, if you ever make a mistake, make sure you go to Edit, Undo, like I just did. So I'm going to go back to my little cursor here and click on the bench. I'm going to press M, and this is how you can move it once you've already put it down. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to Orbit. I'm going to zoom out. Okay. I'm going to go to my cursor and click. And this is what my yard looks like so far. Okay. Alright, I'm going to show you how to add one more thing. We're going to go to Window, Components, and let's add a truck. So you'll search your 3D warehouse for a truck, or a car, or a tree, anything that you want to add. Okay. Feel free to look through and add one that you want. I'm going to add this Ford Expedition. Once it's downloaded, it automatically comes in onto your window. You just need to, I did not click anything. I'm just dragging this around. So once it's where I want to put the truck, I'm just going to click and drop it. Okay. I'm going to orbit up, so I'm looking down on this car or truck. Remember, if you ever have a hard time seeing it, feel free to zoom out really far. It's a lot easier to zoom back in. So we have our car on the lawn, and remember, if you want to resize it, you just click on it, you press the S on your keyboard, and you can resize it. If you want to move it, you press M, and if you want to rotate it, so say I want it facing the other way, I'm going to click on these two arrows to rotate, and Now make sure that the little dial that's on there, you want it to be facing down. So if you can see the dial, you can see the whole dial, the whole circle of it, and that means I can rotate it like this. Now if you have the dial and if it's facing down, like it is now, you'll be rotating the car crooked, like this, and it's not going to be straight on the lawn. So remember, at any time you can go to File or Edit, Undo, and it will undo the last move that you did. So let's go back to Orbit and take a look at our house. So we have a lawn, we have a car, we have the bench, you have your house with windows, and you just completed your first Google SketchUp project. So when you're finished, make sure that you go to File, save it, and then you are going to print so that I can see a picture of your house. And that's how you're going to get credit for doing this project. So File, Print. And at any time, make sure that you rewind this video, you pause it, you can move ahead if I get too talkative. And if you have any questions, let me know.